Welcome to Community CPA's webinar. This is our Thursday, so we are featuring a guest today. And we have Vicky from the YMCA of Greater Des Moines here. Thank you for joining us, Vicky. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. I really appreciate you having us on. This will be a fantastic conversation with you, Catherine.
Awesome. So before we get into the main content, I want to go over some things about Community CPA first, and then we will get to highlight the YMCA and what they're doing in the community and the types of programs that you can be part of so that you stay fit, healthy, and engaged. So let me share.
Hi, Catherine. I'm doing great. Yeah, fantastic to be with you.
Could you introduce yourself and a bit about the YMCA?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Vicky Foresman, and I just have to share that I spell my first name with a Y. I figured I was meant to work at the YMCA, so V-I-C-K-Y. Here we are. Been with the Y for 29 years. I know that doesn't happen in very many careers nowadays, but it's been a wonderful career because of the type of work that we do. And that work is held up because of the community's belief. I believe in our mission, which is to keep the YMCA open and accessible for everyone. So today, I'm excited to be in the seat to share with you what that work means, and especially as Catherine, you framed up the topic, how to stay healthy during this time of COVID, and maybe allow the YMCA to be a part of that health journey with you.
All right, so can you tell us a bit about the Y and what membership looks like, numbers and what's included in membership?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of skipped over that last slide.
No worries, do you want me to go back?
Yeah, let's just maybe tee it up with some of that information. You know, the boring stuff, but this is what makes us who we are. So I would like to share with you just some brief facts about the YMCA. So one of the cool things is that the YMCA of Greater Des Moines, we are the 5th longest operating nonprofit here in Central Iowa. The Y started in 1844 over in London, England, and it arrived in Central Iowa in downtown Des Moines in 1868. So the Y of Greater Des Moines, we are just entering our 152nd year of operation, of doing really cool things for the community. And, you know, during this time of COVID, Catherine, I think it's especially interesting to note that the Y is seen by many people as just a lifeline to many vulnerable Americans, you know, as we move through this. So with that, we open our doors in 6 different communities through our membership branches. Such as a Walnut Creek YMCA, which is over in the Windsor Heights area, the Waukee YMCA, which is of course on the far west side of our Central Iowa area. And then we have 2 specialty campuses that we also serve. One is Y Camp up in Boone, that is home to many, many campers throughout Iowa, as well as the country that come in for a residential camp experience. Our other specialty campus is our supportive housing campus that we'll talk a little bit about. But that supportive housing campus houses 140 homeless or near homeless men and women. So in order to make all of this work, we employ about 1,100 staff, team members at the various locations around Central Iowa. And then the Y is governed by a board of directors. We have about we're governed by a board of directors, and then each of our Y branches also have an advisory board. So in total, there's probably about 200 board volunteers that are with us. The Y is a $19 million operation, and in order to make us work, we have membership revenues, we have program revenues, but then contributed revenues, which helps us fund gaps with programs that we know we need to provide for the community. But they don't necessarily operate in the black. The Y is a United Way funded agency, which we're very proud of that partnership. Those folks work very hard in order to make our community better, and that's where the Y shows up as well. Besides getting funding from United Way, we also receive funding from donors that give specifically to the YMCA annual campaign. Now, the last thing I just want to say about this slide is these numbers. I wanted to report these numbers, but these are pre-COVID numbers. As we've moved through, our operations are shrinking somewhat. So we're down, I think we'll be about a $15 million operating budget as we move forward with that. So, yeah, so that's just the framework of who we are and how we operate as we move forward. I'd just like you to keep that in mind as I share the rest of the Y story.
Okay, awesome. So you said 6 membership branches. Are they all open at this time?
Yes, they are all open. There will be one change that we make on October 1st. Our South Suburban YMCA is going to be operated by the Genesis Health Club Systems. We have leased that property to them for the next 18 months, but the members at the South Branch can still use any of the other YMCA branches. So I didn't run through all the names of the branches, but they are available at dmymca.org.
Awesome. So yeah, what does a membership include and how does somebody become a member?
Yeah, thank you. We love that question.
Yes.
If you remember, 64% of our operating budget is comprised of membership revenue. So that means that's folks that have joined us, perhaps yourself. For those of you who are watching, Catherine shared that she's been a member with her family in the past. But we are a membership organization that you pay a monthly due to be a part of. So one of the things that I opened up with at the beginning of this is the promise of the Y, or the cause of the Y. We're a mission-driven organization, and we want to make sure that we always have the ability to be accessible to anyone who has a desire to be a part of us. So if you can't afford the monthly dues, and those dues range, we have individuals that can join from $61 for an adult on up to a family that's $92 a month. But if you can't afford that, through the work of the YMCA annual campaign and the volunteers that help us raise those dollars, we are in a position to provide scholarship and financial assistance to anyone who needs that, so we can get you engaged in membership activities and program activities.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we are a membership organization, and the 3 things that I'd want you to take away from that, as Catherine and I were talking about this, many people will see the YMCA as a gym and swim, which is fantastic because that's, many people learn to swim at the YMCA. Many people shot and made their first basketball or basket shot, at the YMCA through basketball. So we're a membership organization, but we give people a place to belong. So as we navigate through this crazy world, everyone wants to belong to something. So I want you to think about it in that respect. We're also in a position to help people achieve their personal health and wellness goals. So as we experience a stay-at-home and this isolation part of our existence, we are anxious and eager for people to come into our facilities that are now open in order for us to help you achieve those goals. And then the third thing I'd ask you to remember when you think about joining the YMCA and becoming a part of community in this way is that the Y is where you can build lifelong relationships and find some of your most lifelong, long-term friends within that. So the Y shows up in 10,000 communities across America. There's 2,400 YMCAs within those communities, and we get the opportunity to serve 17.5 million men, women, and children, which I just think is incredible. So to join the Y, you not only join here in Des Moines, Iowa, which is a fantastic city, or Indianola or Waukee, whichever city you're a part of, but you become a part of this bigger family across the nation within that. So we operate hopefully with similar values that you all have with your families of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Hopefully you feel that within the walls of the Y, how you're greeted when you come into the Y, and then through the programs that our staff extend to people who sign up with that.
Awesome.
Yes.
So you mentioned a few of the programs. Do you want to tell us some more of the core programs that you have?
Yeah, wonderful. So again, I kind of referenced that maybe many people know us as a gym and swim. We love that because there's many good stories that come out of that. Some of those things that we refer to as our core programs are some of those activities that have been around a long time. So the YMCA actually invented youth basketball. I don't know how many of you know that, but somebody found a peach basket that was in a corner. I think his name was James Naismith. He was at a YMCA and they decided to get a ball and see how many times they could get that ball through that peach basket. So basketball isn't underway right now. We're currently in our flag football season, but we'll be putting out signups for basketball as we move further into the fall. Right now we're doing youth football leagues. I think we have about 230 kids enrolled in youth basketball. And one of the things I'd want to note with you folks about YMCA and participating in the different activities is that we're an organization that really focuses on the youth first and development of youth. So when you come and sign up for some of our youth programs, it's all about getting the opportunity to play in half of every game. No one has to be the bench warmer in this league. We're going to get you in. We're going to put you with caring adult and trained youth sports coaches within that. The other activity that I like to highlight, we're going to talk about aquatics in a little bit, but unfortunately COVID did not allow us to operate our day camp programs. But as we move into next summer, we are just so excited to be able to pull kids and families back into day camp programs, as well as our residential camp up in Boone at Y Camp. Y Camp has been around for 101 years, and they do wonderful things up there. Families are looking to play together and stay together. So as part of our membership package that we are putting out there for families, there's a lot of bundled features that come with that. So come in, work out on a treadmill, enjoy some time in the swimming pool, but then there's also opportunities to get your preschooler or young child involved in some programs that would be for you at no additional cost. And then of course, health and wellness. You know, I know as I continue to navigate through COVID, I'm not getting in as much exercise because not all the activities at the Y had been open, but we are slowly opening up all of our facilities to close to 100% as we move further into this fall season, because we know the importance of people wanting to come back in through our doors to maintain their health and wellness.
Right. So I love that a lot of these hits a lot of categories for needs of the community, whether physical or social. So I really love that. So you mentioned that these are the core programs. Now, I know that, you know, these past couple of months have been very different for the Y. What are some needs that have arisen that the Y has worked to address?
Yeah, so COVID has just, again, put us in this crazy space right now. And I'm coming to learn that I don't even like to say that word as much anymore because it doesn't need to own any more of my time, but I will be respectful of it. And I think that's how we're coming across with our programs at the YMCA. So the core programs that we talked about, those are a lot of our traditional programs. And I'd like to just share with you and lift up some programs that we call our mission critical programs. So again, the mission of a nonprofit, I believe, is the most important thing that we can extend back out to community in order to strengthen the foundation of community. So mission critical programs are perhaps programs that we run that don't necessarily operate in the black from a budget standpoint. They don't operate in the black because we're typically taking them into communities that are underserved. We're working with vulnerable populations. We're extending some type of programming togetherness that maybe they wouldn't otherwise have within their day-to-day activities. So just a couple that I would like to highlight and bring to your attention. The first one is the Girls on the Run program. There's a picture of that. You can see some of the youngsters that are running around a track. This is a group that comes together, and we are, I think Krista, our program director, had this program pre-COVID in about 60 different schools, elementary schools across central Iowa. It's a program that brings kids together along with adult certified coaches. People think it's all about running and physical exercise, but it's truly about building resiliency and grit within these young preteen girls, so they can withstand the potential of bullying coming their way, with helping them cope with maybe lack of self-confidence or lack of self-esteem. If there's a Girls on the Run program at your school, I would really encourage you to take a look at that and perhaps enroll your young person in that program. If you don't have that program in your school, give us a call at the Y. Right now, because school isn't in session, at least for the Des Moines Public Schools, we're running this program out of parks and out of churches or big open spaces so we can practice social distancing and whatnot. But it's a fantastic program, again, for 3rd through 5th grade students. There is a program for middle schoolers, but check that out. There's a lot of value in that. The other one that I would want to bring to life is, let's talk about maybe just the Safety Around Water program. That program, again, it's within our aquatics world, but this is all about having the opportunity to drown-proof our community. Again, many vulnerable populations that are out there attend different waterfronts in central Iowa that are unguarded, or maybe you're out on a family outing and you're in a backyard neighbor's pool enjoying the summer, but again, it's a body of water that's unguarded. The Y is here to help your loved one, your child, if they find themselves over their head, literally in water. We help them understand what they can do in order to get out of that situation if there's no adult there to help them. We have this great, awesome project coming to Central Iowa called the Water Trailways Project. Super excited for what that means for our community and the growth of our community, but it also means that there's going to be more opportunity for young kids to approach open water. And, you know, kids like to be kids, they're curious. If somebody should happen to find themselves in the water unbeknownst to them, how can they help save themselves? So that's a program that we are offering currently through an after-school program where we bring kids to the Y at no cost and help them learn what these basic activities would be in order to promote safety within that.
Excellent. So with these programs, do people need to be a member of the Y to get access to them?
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things, Catherine. So thanks for that question, because you do not need to be a member of the YMCA in order to access our programs. What you will find if you are a member is that you can join the program perhaps at no cost if there's not a fee to it, or at a reduced cost versus what we charge program members or non-members of the YMCA. But don't let that stop you if you're not a member. Come in and take a look, and if there's something that interests you, let us know how we can help you.
Awesome. And then I know you mentioned that the camp program wasn't able to run, and we talked about different needs that come up, and we know that, you know, school and education is one of them. Can you tell us a bit about your program for kids in education?
Yes, so currently with the Des Moines Public School System, we have 3 of our YMCA branches that reside within that school district. With the kids not being back at their classrooms in their schools, the Y has created the Return to Learn program where we're supporting families and kids in that. So our 2 locations One is at Finley Elementary, which we've had an outstanding long-term relationship there. Principal Adams is a wonderful community leader. We house 20 students. We have the ability to house 20 students over there. And then our John R. Grubb YMCA, which is at 11th and College. We just got that licensed as a childcare site to host 40 young students there. So when I say host, that means we're inviting these kids in to the Grubb Y for all day care, but also there's teachers there that can help them navigate the connectivity into their virtual classroom. That teacher can support and help them with their homework or classes or whatever that need is. And that's such an important thing for us to step into, again, with the help of our partner with United Way, so we can support the kids in their academic achievement with that. So as the districts make their determination as to, are we going to go back to school, are we not, our staff has had the foresight to think through, all right, if school goes back in session, then we know we can pivot. That's like the word of the year.
Yes,
pivot,
for sure.
Into doing after school care to still be there to support the kids and families. Or at the Grubb Y, you know, one day it would be one cohort of students, and then as those students go back to the classroom, then we get the second cohort on that following day.
Right,
and then with
the hybrid.
Yeah, with the hybrid. And the other thing, we don't just want to be about sitting kids down in front of the computer for learning, but we're also going to plan in some enrichment programming, such as safety around water. We have swimming pools, then we're going to take those kids into that environment to help them gain that skill, as just one example.
Awesome. So with this, is it for Findlay Elementary School students, and then who can participate in the Grubb?
Yeah, that's great clarification. So you're right on. Findlay is for the Findlay students, but the kids from the Grubb YMCA, that's an open enrollment. We're working with the school district to help identify families that need this type of service. But if you have an interest in that, again, please reach out. My contact information will be on at the end of the screen. You can get it from Catherine, but we'd love to talk with you just to be a part of your support system.
Awesome. This is a great program and very much needed at this time. And then you mentioned you have a supportive housing campus. Can you explain what that is? So serving adults this time.
Yeah. So Catherine, thanks for letting me speak on this one, because as we talk about keeping people healthy through COVID, this is again another population. It's part of our community. We're all a part of our community together. So I wanted to address what we're doing over at the YMCA Supportive Housing Campus. This is a location on the south side of Des Moines downtown. The address is 2 Southwest 9th Street. And we house 140 homeless or near homeless adults, both men and women. Affordable housing is one of those headlines that we read about way too much in our community. So again, we're working with many community partners in order to offer this program to keep a roof over people's heads where they can call this home. And that's really important. It makes me value that word even that much more. But people are there. They sign a 6-month lease to be with us. The monthly rental fee is $540. But again, as the Y operates, thanks to many generous donors in our community, if you can't afford that, then we're going to figure out a way to help you with a scholarship in order to do that. Unfortunately, there's 100+ people on our wait list. So we're continuing to work through that. Catherine asked a great question as we were walking through this, but that last point of what is the graduate program? And the graduate program, I think there's currently 9. We may be a few under that right now. But within the 140 people that live at this beautiful campus, operated by Executive Director Emily Osweiler, we don't have the space to expand. So Emily's creative idea, along with her board, is to work with landlords in the community who would be able to offer right now 9 people that live here to move them off campus. They still have the ability access the supportive services at the supportive housing campus. But that in essence opens up 9 more rooms for people to come in and live here instead of being on the waiting list. So again, it's a part of what the Y does. It's way outside of the scope of gym and swim, but it's all a part of, I believe, and hopefully you guys are with me on this as well, keeping our community healthy and relevant and safe.
Okay, so it's a 6-month lease, but they can renew, right? It says average stay is 17 months.
Yes, yeah. Everyone signs a 6-month lease minimum. And what we found is we've been open for 8 years, I believe, maybe 9 years, that we have an average stay of 17 months. And then 70% of the people who leave go to permanent housing. So, and you know, some people revert back. I don't know what happens to the other 30%, but that's a pretty good return on investment of spending time with this population and helping them be all that they can be.
Awesome. And then, so you had mentioned the aquatics class as well. I know a lot of people are interested in enrolling their children into swim. So can you tell us a bit about the YMCA program, both in the competitive swim and then also individual classes?
Yes, yes. So this view that you're looking at is our swimming pool down at the Wellmark YMCA. This is within the rooftop of the Mid-American Energy Aquatics Center, sponsored by the Prairie Meadows Pool. So the YMCA, this is just one of our 10 pools in central Iowa. We're the manager of the most bodies of water here, which is pretty cool, but it's also pretty expensive to do that. Many parents, many families will come to the Y as their place to learn to swim. So we talked about the Safety Around Water program. That's a precursor to swim lessons. We are currently operating swim lessons at our different facilities. Because of COVID, we don't have all of our swimming pools open right now. But those pools that are open are Indianola, the Walnut Creek YMCA, and the Waukee YMCA. So one of the cool things as we went through and reopened our swimming pools, we have a lot of people who enjoy lap swimming. To them, that's akin to like running on a treadmill. But parents are jumping in the water to be a part of swim lessons with the preschool kids. That's become really effective as one of our ways to mitigate and manage COVID, and making sure family units stay together as we're training them in swim lessons. I also would want to mention that we have a youth swim team, and that has been one of the bright spots to share with people. There's 537 kiddos that are on our youth swim team. But as everyone was homebound and isolated and all that, our aquatics directors and swim team coach, led by Frankie Hansen, they created just some really cool safety mitigation activities to put in front of our families and kids so we could get these kids back into the YMCA to participate in swim team. So again, if you have any interest in your child being a part of swim lessons or swim team, know that we have group lessons. We've decreased the ratio. Currently it was, I think it's 1 to 4 is what we're running right now for our group swim lessons. And then we also have private swim lessons that you could take advantage of as well with that. Water exercise is a big activity at the Y as well. So again, if you're looking for that opportunity to go do something different, that's another great exercise activity that is typically friendly to your joints and to your body to get back into the mentality of what a workout might mean to you. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention we are looking for lifeguards. So if anyone out there has an interest in becoming a lifeguard to help us manage and keep these pools safe, again, give us a call and we will point you in the right direction with that.
Awesome. Thank you, Vicki. We are getting close to time now, but I wanted to give you a chance to briefly talk on the ways, you've mentioned some ways that the Y has worked to mitigate COVID risks. Is there anything else you would like to say regarding that?
Yeah, the only thing I would share with that is know that we have taken some big measures in order to keep people safe within the COVID world. As you come into the YMCA, we have screening questions at the front desk. We've taken down some of our machines so you're not working out right next to someone. We have our staff cleaning all the time. At some of our Ys, we've closed down midday in order to do more deeper cleaning. Our members have voiced back to us that they really appreciate the care and thoughtfulness that we've put into that. So if you have any thoughts about, wow, how are we doing that? Again, come and check us out and see for yourself within that. And then Catherine, I'd just like to close with this wonderful slide with the history of the YMCA. Our emphasis is just about celebrating the diversity we have with one another in our community, but really throughout the walls of every YMCA here in community. So you see a group of smiling faces up there that say they're a welcomer. We want to celebrate and unite our community in a way. It's what the history of the Y is all about. It's how we come together to celebrate one another. And it's just our message of inclusivity. So come and check us out, be a part, take a chance on the Y. I would love to meet each and every one of you that are watching out there today. My contact information it's coming up right here. Give me a call. There's a reason I've been with the YMCA for 29 years. There's so many good organizations here in Central Iowa, but give the Y a try. We're working hard to keep everybody safe, healthy, and we do that because of the commitment of donors, members, volunteers, and just our community in Central Iowa that has really embraced what the true mission of the Y is all about. So thank you very much for this time and the opportunity to present to all of you.
Yes, thank you so much, Vicky. This is the slide where you can have her contact, Vicky Foresman at dmymca.org, and then that is also her number. And feel free to check out their website. They have their branches listed there. So